The 11th generation Civic Si might just be the best hot daily driver you can get here in 2022. But if you do a lot of driving on the highway, what sort of numbers can you realistically expect to get for fuel economy? That's what we're going to find out. It's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we're going to test the real-world highway fuel economy of the 2022 Honda Civic Si manual. Before we get started, let's hop out, take a look at the car. Ah, yes, the Daily Motor 2021 Best Car of the Year, the Honda Civic. Here in its mid-tier sportiness. For those of you who don't know, there's the base car, the Si, and then there will be a Type R as well for top-tier sportiness. The Si represents a great value and a lot of fun, about $27,000 with these cool looks and great driving dynamics. If you do want to see more on the Civic or the Civic Si, check the links in the description. We've got a test of the Bose sound system, we've got a DM test drive, a little Car of the Year award video, all sorts of good stuff with this car. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this Civic 37 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are people who take their cars on long road trips and would like to know what sort of numbers you can realistically expect in the real world. In order to test that, we're going to head over to the gas station here, fill up, go out and do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour, come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. A few things to note for today: outside temperatures 19 degrees Fahrenheit. Our tire pressures have been set to their door placard 32 psi cold, so a little low for kind of your normal car. And we're going to run the climate control at 73 degrees auto. All right, let's hop out and fill it up. Now, even though 87 octane is the minimum, 91 is recommended, and that's what the EPA tested this car on, so we are running premium fuel. We put in 1.976 gallons for our first fill. Before we start the engine, we're going to reset our GPS and reset our car's trip computer. And we're ready to begin. A few different drive modes here in the Civic Si. You've got normal, sport, and individual. Now, interestingly enough, individual is not that customizable. You can pretty much only adjust your engine between normal and sport, and then, what is it, chassis between normal and sport? Just kind of, oh no, it's steering. Steering, that's it. So it's kind of funny they even bothered to make an individual mode, but we're going to be doing this test in normal. We're going to take it nice and easy over to the highway. It's about half a mile away. Pick up the test from there. The goal of this test isn't to hypermile. We're not trying to get the best possible fuel economy for this car, but rather a realistic number. So in order to do that, we're going to get up to highway speed here at a reasonable pace and set our cruise control at a GPS indicated 72 miles per hour. That should allow us to average 70 over the whole test. Good amount of torque coming from this little 1.5 liter turbocharged motor. You can kind of just ease onto it as you accelerate. Get up to about 60 here before going down into 6. Right. I like the extendable windshade there, sunshade, if you will. Looks like we do have adaptive cruise control and Honda's robust active lane keeping system that's much improved for this generation Civic. I think that's really impressive and nice that Honda included adaptive cruise and active lane keeping at this price point. Cracks me up that we just had a $77,000 Cadillac CT4V Blackwing that didn't have adaptive cruise, but yet this $27,000 Civic does. So, interesting note. Looks like our speedometer is a little bit off from the GPS, so it looks like 73 on the dash, just going to 72 on the GPS, not too bad. Initial highway impressions. The ride's a little bouncy. It's not crashy, so I've appreciated that so far in the Civic Si, but again, not smooth, just not crashy. We are going to close that. A little bit quieter in here. Good amount of road noise. I did forget to mention we're running the all-season tires on this car. These are not the summer tires. So they're Goodyear Eagle Sport all seasons. It's not the most sound deadening in this car, but for this price point, it's kind of hard to complain. Alright, we're going to continue on with the test and catch up with you at the end. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. highway fuel economy test here in the 2022 Honda Civic Si. This thing makes for a pretty good highway cruiser. We are running kind of high on the revs. We're at just under 3 grand, but we're getting 38 miles per gallon according to the car's trip computer. And I've been comfortable. These seats have a decent amount of support despite being a little sporty. Some good bolstering. I think larger chested individuals, kind of like larger shoulders, broad, they might be a little uncomfortable. Although I guess it's more the lower area that the bolstering is pretty tight. Climate control's been good. I'm comfortable in here. Like I said, the only thing is that there's a little bit of extra noise, but I do really appreciate the active lane keeping. I mean, it works really well. Look at this. Just kind of taking me through this corner, and it's not yelling at me. It's never yelled at me once. It pops up and says steering required, but you just give it a little bit of effort, and there you go. The adaptive cruise control is a little conservative for my tastes. I would probably try to drive with that off, but not the end of the world. I'm glad it has it. Other than that, yeah, I'm happy with this. So we're gonna get back to the pump, fill up, see what the final number is, and go from there. 2.648 going in for our final fill. 102.2 divided by 2.648 is giving us 38.59, just barely, rounding up to 39 miles per gallon. That is really quite good. And maybe a tad bit optimistic. I mean, with EPA being 37, trip computer saying 38. I in the cold weather, if you can get 39 just barely squeezing out, I bet you 39 would be no problem cruising at 70 miles per hour in warmer weather here in the 2022 Honda Civic Si. Great number. It's so cool that you can get a fun, sporty car like this that's enjoyable to drive and at the same time economical. I don't understand why more people don't just choose something like this. It's got room for 4 or 5 people easily, good amount of trunk space. It's fun to drive. It's got a good sound system. This is a really good car. And hey, 39 miles per gallon, that just builds on it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Civic Si, check the links in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.